Welcome to Sipping on Excellence. This is Coach KJ, and I'm here with my man, my dude, the Doc.
And this is where we will be discussing the exceptional that is absolutely attainable. My friends, here's to living that extraordinary life.
Cheers.
All right, all right, all right.
That's what he said.
Because, hey,
It's
it
all
is
right.
all right.
All right.
Oh,
All right.
man. Let's welcome everybody to another episode of Sippin' on Excellence.
I feel like when we
I know, we're like, trying something a little new here with the setup,
Right.
but, you know, I think this is a good one. You here with me and Coach
and who are you?
Doc. Dr. Leonel Hunt.
Coach Kenneth Johnson.
And for you first-time listeners,
Right. There's always a first time.
go check out some of the previous episodes
Right.
and come back and talk to us.
Right. We do like first timers.
Absolutely. That way
Which
we
leads
can
to
actually.
more timers.
Hey, that's what ends up happening, man.
That's what he said.
Oh, man, we got a good one for y'all today, man. This is one that's probably not talked about enough. It's talked about
Correct.
a lot
It's talked about a lot.
in certain aspects,
Right.
but it's not talked about enough in all aspects.
Right.
And we'll get into it, but I think ego comes into a big play here.
Ego? You got me sweating up in this place. It's a little hot in this camp.
Whew.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ego, well, yeah.
it does. It's that nemesis. It's that enemy, but also what drives you. It's kind of,
Yeah.
kind of-
Yeah. It can be a savior at times.
oh, for sure.
Or many times.
But it can also make you do dumb shit.
Yes.
Those of you who spend any time on social media, listening to the news, looking at relationship coaches and all this stuff,
Because there's a coach for everything.
And so what I've noticed, man, is that when you're talking about male-female relationships or relationships in general, people are always like, you have these high expectations. Like we talked about boundaries and standards
Correct.
on a previous episode without really thinking about what do you bring to the table?
Yeah.
You know, and so today I thought, you know, Coach and we would talk about the value of relationships, your value in a relationship, and damn it, what the fuck do you bring to the table? You know, let's dive deep.
All right. Let's punch him in the chin.
Let's get after it.
I'm ready to punch him in the chin. Let's go. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about the individuals. Do you really think people who, when they start asking, you know, what do you bring to the table? Or, for example, say you go looking for a job
Okay.
and a classic interview question is, how do you think you could benefit the organization?
Yes, of course.
That's I want to say that's the job vernacular for what do you bring to the table?
Of course.
You know? And you'd be surprised at how many people and I interview a lot of people. You'd be surprised at how many people just restate what's on their resume.
Right.
And I'm like, man, don't tell me some shit I could read. I get that. But your resume doesn't show me what you bring to the table.
Right.
What do you value in yourself that you think others would find valuable? And I think we don't spend enough time asking that question.
Well, we never ask that question of ourselves.
And why do you think that is?
Because we don't want to know the answer. We avoid the answer.
Right.
Or we avoid the potential of tapping into the answer to get to the right answer.
Oh, for sure.
I think that's what really happens.
Like when people come to me and want me to consult or want me to speak on something, a new project or whatever it is, or join a team. The best, any team sport. Think of your job, any team sport. What value do you bring to the team? Mm-hmm. Or are you a free paycheck? There's a lot of them out there. A lot of free paychecks out there.
Because it looked good on paper, but it adds no value once in that position.
Are you adding value, or are you a liability?
Yeah.
Are you as an employer? I'm adding value, and I tell people this all the time in my world. I'm like, I'm the only one that can't be fired. Mm-hmm. It's that simple.
Yeah.
And so, but in the bigger scheme of things, for example, the hospital as a whole, even though my business can't be fired, the hospital is not going to want me in their system if I don't bring value to that system.
No matter how they feel about it.
Yeah. No matter how cool I may be, and bringing value to that system is, am I bringing revenue? And am I having good outcomes? On the other side of the revenue stream, is there good outcomes? Because you can make a ton of money and have shitty outcomes, which leads you to a shitty reputation. And the only thing more important than money is your reputation. And that's what a hospital like Cedars will see. And so I still have to find ways to bring value, not just to my patients, not to my business. I know I'm bringing value to my business, but is my business bringing value to the institution as a whole?
Yeah.
To make them want to still do business with me.
And of course, you have to take can't get my words out today. Take under consideration, it's not what you've done, it's what you're continuing to do.
Yeah.
Are you growing and progressing with that time for the value that you're creating for like a Cedars?
Right.
That's what they're looking at.
Yeah, because think about this. If I'm going to go into a partnership with you, I mean, think about it. This podcast is a partnership. There's different things that you and I bring to the table, which makes Sippin' on Excellence work.
Right.
Because you take a part of the team away, it loses an aspect of the dynamic, which has made this.
Yeah, because if let's say we stop this today and you said, I don't want to do it, or if I said I didn't want to do it anymore, and you said, well, you know what, I'm going to continue on. I
think it'll be different.
It'll be way different.
It'll be
15 minutes, and you're like, yeah, I don't even want to do that because you're not inspired and
there's nothing to engage with.
Yeah,
it's just it becomes a monologue that is kind of like,
yeah,
There's nothing to bounce ideas off of. There's nothing to bounce, that kind of thing. So you bring something to the table, even if it's not tangible, because most valuable assets aren't tangible assets. Mm-hmm. It's the intangible that you can't see or describe that just brings and adds value.
Right. Like what we were talking about before we started. It's not what we see, it's the unseen.
Yeah, for sure.
That is actually holding you and keeping you stable.
But I think people in general place a higher value on their low value shit instead of focusing on how to bring their low value shit to higher value.
Say that one more time.
I can't.
But I got it.
Rewind. You can hear it again. But it makes sense though, right? And so if somebody gets angry when you ask them, what do you bring to the table? If they can't just spit it out and they're like, well, I think because I am smart.
That's no value.
I think
smart people.
I think that, in this organization, I will help provide structure and clarity because I am smart and efficient. Okay, cool. Give me an example.
Right.
Give me an example of a system or your last job. What value did you bring to your last job? And how is your job better for you having been there? And I asked somebody that and they were just like, stuck. Not what did they lose because you left. What value did you bring, and how are they better for you having been there?
Yeah.
And people just, and what you don't realize is that you can carry that same concept into all walks of life.
Yeah.
Like how we mentioned sports. You have to bring value to a team, right? Mm-hmm. Jordan brought value. Kobe brings value. LeBron brings value. They can't win that shit by themselves, but everybody plays their position because you need a Kareem, you need a Shaq, you need these people who are role players, and they know the value they bring. Now, the value they bring may not be as valuable. That's why you see in soccer, you don't have the goalie on the team getting paid the same as Messi, who's scoring the goals. Right. But he still adds value.
He adds value.
And his value has a price.
Exactly. I believe it or not, I've actually been asked that question. I get asked that question actually quite often. And my answer is always this. I make you feel better either physically or emotionally and feel champion leaving the door than when you walked in. You feel supported. You feel better as a human than when you walked in.
But here's the thing I noticed in your field is people want you to do it for them.
Yes.
You know what I mean? They don't want to bring value to the team. You're going to bring the know-how. I'm going to bring the dedication to getting it done.
Right.
And you're going to give me the tool to do it. But I still have to use the tool.
Yeah.
And a lot of people want you to bring the tool and use it for them.
I know.
And that doesn't work.
No.
And I think that's the value add. You're adding value to a vacuum. So they're sucking the value you're adding, and they're not seeing the results because they're not using the tool that you gave them. Yeah. They're just putting that shit in the toolbox and be like, all right, what else you got?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
that tool didn't work. Well, did you use it? Well, that's not the point.
Yeah.
You're supposed to use it on me.
That's why most of the time leaving me, you feel emotionally supported versus physically. Because what I do is when you come in, I'm pretty much pulling that head back, going in, putting things back together. Oh, this don't match. Let's throw this out. I hate myself. I'm tired of working out. I don't like my husband. I don't like my wife. Okay, now let's rewire that.
Trying to get rid of the garbage.
Yeah. It's just a little bit of garbage I'm trying to get rid of every time.
Yeah. And I think that value add is important for people to recognize. But because they don't look in the mirror and see that value, or they can't put their hands on it. Mm-hmm. Oh, I didn't work hard enough today with coach because I'm not sore or I'm not in pain or I didn't throw up on the side of the building. So there was no value added today because I don't feel like I want to die. I can make you feel like you want to die. Wear you out. Did I add value to you or did I hurt you?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And so I think people forget that or just don't understand what value add means.
No, they don't.
Think about friendships, and we touched on this value add when we talked about our equality versus equity. And how it's not about bringing the same value. It's not about bringing the exact same, I match you, you match me. That's not what it's about. It's about you adding any value.
Yeah. Whatever your value is.
Right. If I find it valuable, then it's a plus. It doesn't matter how valuable I see it. If I feel that you have something I can't live without, then I'm going to want you there. Or if I don't have it myself.
Right.
If I can get something from somewhere else as valuable,
you will,
but cheaper, I'm going to get it.
Right.
Is it going to cost me less? Think about relationships with friends. If I'm adding value to your life, I'm helping you through all your struggles. I'm helping you with oh, you need me to do you a favor, you need me to do this, and then the minute I need you, you're nowhere around, or oh, I don't have time today, I'm too busy. Eventually, you start to realize they're not adding value, they're just holding a space. And holding that space is, think of a piggy bank.
Okay.
If I'm dropping coins in a piggy bank that's empty, it's great, right? I'm adding value to that piggy bank. If I allow you to stuff toilet paper in that piggy bank, and then I try to put coins in that piggy bank, they're not going to fit because you filled it with valueless bullshit.
That's a great analogy. This guy is on point today. Wow.
You know, it makes sense, right?
That makes a lot of sense.
So, as a so-called friend, if you're sucking my time and you're holding a space for somebody that could be adding value to my life, but I'm spending that time and space with you who's adding no value,
yeah,
I'm no longer open to what could be.
Yeah.
And it's all me adding value to you without you dropping coins in my bank.
Right. It's almost like they poked a hole at the bottom of the bank and you think you're adding value and it's just falling through.
Well, and the thing is, I'm dropping coins in your bank because you're getting something from it. I'm filling you the fuck up.
Right.
You, on the other hand, aren't. Instead, you're filling me up. But it takes me a while to realize what you're filling me with has no value. Mm-hmm. With you're stuffing newspaper while I'm stuffing dollars. You know what I mean? It's
and
just
it happens so often.
And you don't realize it. You don't realize that's what's happening until you go to crack open your piggy bank and you realize this shit's
it's empty.
Full of shit.
Yeah, it's full of crap.
You know? And so I say that because most of us have friends, or I'm not even gonna call them friends, because friends add value. People in our lives that we associate with who we add a ton of value to them. But yet, the minute you pull back, they try to make it seem like you're the bad guy.
Yeah.
How dare you?
Yeah.
I'm here for you, and then you don't be there. You're not there for me. You're the bad guy for not being here when I need you. Mm-hmm. And I've been in that position where I'm like, damn, am I? Then I'm like, wait a minute. And you know who who I'm talking about. Dude who's been friends with me forever. And then had to cut off because it was being sucked out and not being replenished.
Oof.
You know,
that's rough. And that's rough. It's because you're in an environment with this person.
Yeah, for sure. And so
it's worse than the dead.
Yeah.
Because the dead, you can mourn, move on. These people are still around. They're still in your space.
Yeah. And they're still taking.
Yeah.
And
because they're also a lot of times, even when they're not taking from you directly, they're taking around you.
Yeah.
So now you have less to lean on from the spaces that are supposed to be part of your circle, your group, your connection.
Right.
That happens.
Oh,
and
for sure.
And I think a lot of times it happens way more often than we can even account for.
Yeah.
In micro dosages.
Yeah.
And it can happen with family.
Oh, for
Friends,
sure.
family, loved ones.
Yeah.
You know.
Agree wholeheartedly, man.
Yeah.
And I think we can segue into the topic nobody likes to talk about. And, you know, that male-female dynamic of who's bringing what to the table. And people always, I love it when people try to punch above their weight class, you know? And what I mean by that is it's usually, and we're going to catch some flack for this, but you know, I don't give a shit. Usually women who are trying to shoot for the stars without putting a rocket on their own back. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where we talked about this, where everybody has so many demands and standards, and this is what I expect. Cool. I get you want the world. What are you bringing to the table that says, you know what?
I'm worth this.
I'm worth all of this. Not just because my mama said I am, or not just because I feel I am. what values do you have that me as a man will look at and say, oh shit, you're going to make my life better. Not just I want to get with this guy because he's going to make my life better. Mm-hmm. And don't just say, oh, I bring to the table femininity. I'm a woman. I bring peace. You don't bring peace.
We know you're a woman. Don't stop stating the obvious.
Right. Don't say I'm gonna bring the softer side. I'm gonna bring this. I'll create him a home and all this stuff, which is very valuable if you do that. Mm-hmm. But how many people do that when they say, okay, cool. He's gonna be a provider for you. He's going to give you a great life. What are you gonna do what are you going to do to create his and make his life better? How is he going to say, you know what? My world is better because you're here and not because you're bringing him good sex. That does not matter. He can buy that. Not because you're pretty, because he likes to have somebody pretty on his arm to go out with. He can buy that.
Yeah.
What are you bringing that's intangible that he cannot buy that's going to make him a better man? Sit down in the mirror and ask yourself that.
That's as easy as that question sounds, it's very difficult, very challenging because let's face it, a lot of women actually can't look at themselves in the mirror. Period.
No. And
for themselves.
And some people got mad the other day when I said women are selfish because it's always, and it's not necessarily a bad thing because you have to be selfish somewhat in order to protect yourself. Mm-hmm. But that being said, it's not always about what you can do for me. Mm-hmm. What can he do for me? You want him to make six figures because you want him to do something for you. You want him to provide something for you. Well, that's cool. I get it. What are you providing to him?
Yeah.
Are you saying...
where it's not a sacrifice.
Okay. He doesn't need a housekeeper. He's got one. He doesn't need a cook. He's got a chef.
Right.
Are you going to be the mother to his kids? Are you going to raise his kids? That's invaluable. That's intangible. That's invaluable. Yes, you're bringing something because that will make him a better man. Are you going to be his champion to push him?
Yeah.
He's content or he's happy where he is because he doesn't know that he can, more. That there's more until you show him that he could be more than he is. If you come in and you just accept him for where he is and then you suck his energy and all of a sudden he starts to realize I'm less than what I was because she didn't add to the whole. She took away from the whole. So instead of you being a plus, you're a minus because you're taking without giving. And so how do you propose that you are going to be the person to be his champion and push him to go further?
Right.
The rocket ship you have strapped on your back trying to shoot for the stars, on your way to that star, are you going to snatch him and be like, let's go. Right. Let me ignite your shit so we can both soar.
Right.
Most people don't think about that. Most women don't think about that. And men, this is how stupid men can be. Because they're willing to accept the superficial access, the superficial shit. So they're like, you know what, as long as she's pretty and popular, then I can deal with the rest. She doesn't have to make me better because I have it all already. That's a dumb mindset because that pretty and popular doesn't raise kids.
That's a very lacking mindset.
Yeah, that pretty and popular doesn't raise kids. That pretty and popular doesn't push you as a man. It just makes you look good with somebody cute on your arm if you go to a dinner. But that looking cute on your arm doesn't help you close deals.
But why do you think it is that men have this, lack of a better term, this, shallow-ish mindset when it comes to relationships or that next step or the next level and bringing in someone into a relationship or coming to a relationship? Why do you think that they settle for that? Why do you think that they take that on?
Because they don't think that, number one, they're blinded. Mm-hmm. And
blinded by beauty.
Blinded by the booty. The beauty of the booty.
The beauty of the booty.
You know?
Okay.
And so, yes, that is attractive. But that never lasts.
Right.
And then you have that dude who was soaring, who's now bitter and angry because all she had for him was the beauty of the booty. And now he's bitter when the beauty and that shine starts to dull because he didn't see anything else and he didn't allow her to polish her other qualities or he didn't give her the expectation that I need you to polish your other qualities as fine as you shined up them cheeks and those lips.
It sounds like I said it earlier. It sounds like it goes from being this place of wonderfulness to a sacrifice.
Yep.
He's giving up not only his time for her, his space for her, but he's giving up who he is as a man in order for her to be okay, which is now making him bitter, angry, upset, frustrated, tired, because she's not pouring into him, but all he's doing is pouring back to your piggy bank.
Yep. But here's the thing too. I think the reason why that happens is because people don't take the time to learn what their opposite, what their mate, what their partner values.
Right.
They come and say, I have this. This is what he should value, when he may not give a shit about all that. Right. Like how we talked about how some women be like, I'm a CEO of a company. I'm this, I'm that. He doesn't value that. He values other things, but yet you assume he should value it because you value it.
Yeah.
Just like a man. You think just because you have money, clout, ambition, all that, that every woman should value you for that. And they will value that part of you. But if you don't pour into her emotionally,
you can forget about it.
You can forget it.
Bruh.
Because she may stay for the lifestyle, but she ain't fucking with you emotionally.
Right.
And that's some probably painful shit when she's ready to bounce.
Yeah. She'll stay for the lifestyle, but she will become lifeless.
Yes.
She will not be.
And that's when somebody else will be
right.
pouring into her emotion for you.
Yeah.
And so it's, are you feeding her emotion? Are you feeding her intellect? Are you giving her something to grab onto? Are you
championing her?
Yes. Are you giving her that excitement she needs? Find the things that she values to make her a better woman. And then ask yourself, do I have that in me to give to her? Mm-hmm. If you don't, stop fucking around. Move on. Because there's somebody out there who values and needs what you are capable of giving.
Right.
It's that simple. It's not rocket science.
It is really that simple.
But people can't wrap their head around that shit.
Because it sounds like it's just hard. I don't want to know. I don't want to, you know what I mean? That's kind of the mindset. That's a hard, quote unquote, hard question to ask. But you will gain so much value, self-value, and self-worth if you answer that question.
And the ego won't let you ask yourself that question. The ego is like, I got it all. She should just want what I have. Well, she wants what you have, but like we've said in previous podcasts, she's also going to want more because as she gives you more and as she makes you more, hopefully you're going to have more to give her because she's hoping that I'm going to make you better so that way you can make us better.
Yeah.
And as I, as a man, pour into her and make her feel emotionally, physically, financially, intellectually stable and secure, she's only going to open up more and pour more into my cup as her cup is getting full. You know, and so, but she's got to see the value in doing so. Like, if I do this, what am I getting in return? Am I getting security? Am I getting safety? Can I open up my heart to this guy and know that it's not going to get crushed? Can I physically be with this guy knowing that I'm not going to get crushed? Can I...
Is he going to protect my heart? Is he going to protect my 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 intellect? Is he going to protect me?
Is he going to protect and provide? Can I let down the masculine wall and sit within my femininity, knowing that he's got this? You got to show dudes. You got to show her that you got this.
Yeah, yeah.
It's that simple, man.
Yeah.
And if you can't do that, then dude, that's an issue.
Yeah, yeah. And the thing is, when let's say her worth, her financial gain is elevated above his, how are you pouring into her in other ways, in other aspects? That's going to allow her to say that we're leveling off, because it can't always just be financial.
No.
But if she's providing financially, you're doing okay, but she's killing it, but yet and still you're not of service when her gain is a sacrifice,
Right,
to the relationship.
if she's the breadwinner, just plain and simple, if she's the breadwinner, your trinkets don't matter.
Right.
The value, the reason why she's with you has nothing to do with the tangible. The reason why she's with you is because she still wants and needs you to be a man. And she can't be that. And being a man has nothing to do with what you can touch, see, feel. It has everything to do with how you make her feel.
Right.
You make the man in her shut the fuck up. That's what she needs.
Hey, didn't Aretha say it? You make me feel
Like a natural woman. She needs
Yeah.
that woman, that high achiever, that high value in the workplace woman
yeah.
has to have that man in her to claw and to fight the dudes that are trying to keep her down. When she walks in the door at night, that dude needs to be sitting in the car waiting for her to come to work the next day.
Yeah.
She just needs to leave that dude in the car. Be like, dude, I'll slap him a high five on the way in the house. Be like, you sit out here, because I go in the house and I get to be a woman.
Right.
If she can't be that because you haven't figured out how to take the lead, how to be the man of the house, and she's got to do that too, then she finds very little value in you. Right. And eventually, when she realizes that you are like as valuable as counterfeit money, she's going to say, I can't do anything with this. I'm out.
Right. Right. Right.
And what he's going to value is not everything you're bringing home, because women out there who are successful and you're the breadwinner in their house, the worst thing you can do is think that that's what he values in you. He probably feels some kind of way about that. So what he values in you is how you make him feel about himself.
Correct.
Not you making him feel like he's less than.
Belittling him
Exactly.
for what he does not have.
Right. But championing him for everything that he is as a man. That's if he is actually stepping up and being that man. Yeah. And so these are all things that, as individuals, we have to think about when we start asking people, what do we bring to the table? What do you bring to the table? Why don't you ask the question, what do I bring to the table? Mm-hmm. And if you really want to have a conversation, ask your partner, your friend, your coworker, or your boss, what do you think I bring to the table? And be willing to hear that answer.
Whatever the answer is.
Be willing to hear that answer, and then find out and ask them a second question. What can I bring to the table to make you better, to make this better, to enhance work? Here's what I think. Do you agree? Mm-hmm. Not, I'm bringing this to the table and it should be of value. It should be, I'm bringing this to the table. Is this valuable to you? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think that's the way we need to look at.
100.
That aspect.
You know, at certain times I go through this thing with even clients. If I'm with a client, I'll say, okay, we've been together this long. what would you like to do, or how could I be of better service to you? What can I provide for you
Right.
that'll add more value to what it is that we're doing? So we continue to, knock steps down. So we continue to grow. So we can continue to be better. What can we do? What would you like to see? Have you thought about that? What would you like to see in the next 6 months? We've been doing this for 3-4 years now, and we've hit some plateaus. We've worked past those plateaus. What would you like to see? How can I push you in different ways beyond just training?
Yeah.
Let's start looking at other things so we can train for. And their mindset starts to become bigger.
Yeah.
It doesn't become so narrow and like, oh, I got to go to training at this time. I got to go to work at this time. I got this meeting at this time.
Because then it's not adding value. It becomes a burden. Mm-hmm. And instead of looking at it as helpful, it's starting to be looked at as hurtful. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it's something that should be an ongoing conversation, and it will go beyond this podcast. It's going to go beyond this week, but I think you guys out there who are listening to us, I think this is a good opening for you guys to step up to the people in your life and say, hey, sit down and listen to this podcast with them and say, check this out. Let's listen to this together and think about how we can have discussions about how we add value to each other.
Yeah.
I ain't no relationship coach, but it makes sense.
And if you're by yourself, just sit down, get a pen and pad. Listen, nothing like pen and pad. I'm sorry. Put your phone away, turn the TV off. Where am I most valuable? What can I do? What do I do? Where do I add value?
What are my attributes?
Yes.
What are my pluses? What are my minuses? Mm-hmm. And then those minuses, you may look at them and be like, they're probably not really negatives. I just need to figure out how to shine them up and make them positives.
Right.
And so I think as we go forward in life, man, we got to really figure out what value are we bringing to our own lives and what value are we bringing to everyone whose lives we touch. Anyway, man, this was a good episode, man. This is a good topic. And I think we'll get deeper into it as time goes on.
We'll continue to talk about this.
Because this is something that it's in all aspects of life, man.
Yeah.
Work, play, relationships, it's all of it there.
All of it. Kids, everything.
Yeah, for sure, man.
How are you pouring it into your kids? How are you adding value to them?
Yeah. I'm glad we did this one today, man. Coach KJ, where they going to find you, man?
They're going to find me at Coach KJ Knows on Instagram and CoachKJ.com. Where are they going to find you?
You're going to find me at Leonel Hunt on Instagram.
Are they?
Yeah, they really are. Absolutely. You're going to find me at huntspine.com.
Yes.
Don't forget to check out thehuntfoundation.org.
Doing big things.
Doing big things.
Big things. Better check it out.
SOE Podcast. You're going to find us on Instagram at SOE_podcast.
Underscore.
Not a dash.
Underscore. So hit the button twice.
Right. You're going to catch us on podcastsoe.com. It will give you everything Coach and Doc. It'll give you all the links to YouTube, Spotify, all of that to check out prior episodes. Y'all, don't forget, go on YouTube, subscribe. Go on Spotify, subscribe. Go on all the platforms if you want to continue listening to us. It's way easier to subscribe than to download every single individual episode because that just takes up time that you don't need to do. Just subscribe and then it automatically pops into your feed.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make it easy for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Coach, man, this was great and looking forward to the next one, man.
Yes, sir.
We out.
We out.
Deuces.